Are you thinking about buying your first home, but you're getting frustrated because you feel that you might be priced out of the market? You've seen interest rates continuously rise, and it's just really put you down in terms of your goals of getting your first home. Well, in this video, I want to talk about what I would do if I was buying my first house in today's market, so that way you know what to do in 2024. My name is Seanu Uyehara. I'm an area manager with Geneva Financial, and I created my YouTube channel to help you understand the mortgage industry and help you get your mortgage right. So if you have any questions, you can always comment below or hit the description. There's links to more information of videos you can watch, and you can also get a hold of me, and I'd be happy to talk with you personally. Now, a lot of you have gotten probably discouraged over the last year and a half. You've seen interest rates go from 3% to 6% to 8%, and we all thought values were going to start to drop a lot faster than what maybe you're seeing in maybe some parts of the country. But in a lot of other places, values have continued to go up. They've stayed strong, or maybe they've plateaued. So there's a really weird kind of feel of the market right now. But if buying a house is still a goal of yours, here are some things that I would do going into 2024 so that way I can make this a reality. The first thing I would do is come up with a budget. I would really detail out, where am I spending my money? Whether it's, detailing out groceries, your personal expenses, cell phone bills, subscriptions, anything that you're paying that maybe you're just not thinking about. I can tell you this, as someone in the mortgage industry, we pay for so many subscriptions. I've got ChatGPT, I've got Audible, I've got iTunes, you name it, Uber Eats, Postmates. All of these things that we pay for add up to hundreds of dollars a month, not only for my business, but just in my personal life too. And I think that's where a lot of us lose a lot of money that we don't necessarily feel, because it's on a credit card and it's out of sight, out of mind. So I think if you can start with the budget to really figure out, where's my money going every single week? How often do I get paid? Chart that out in a calendar, right? So if I got to pay my car payment on the 5th, how much goes to the car payment and how much could I pay towards a credit card and all your utility bills or whatever else comes in every single month. I think so many of us just go about our day. We pay the bill when it comes in, and we don't really think about how to best utilize our money. Now, if you set a goal every week, and this is something that I did a few years ago, where you set up a high yield savings account or some kind of high yield paying account. You can do a lot of that today where they're paying you 4 or 5%. You can sweep your money into that account. I had a high yield savings account that I would sweep a few $100s every single week into that account. And then I was also buying some stock, and I was doing that automatically every week. I wouldn't even think about it. It would just happen automatically. I think that's such a hack to be able to start putting money away, because over time that will build up to where it is something that you can use towards the down payment of your home, or maybe some of your closing costs, or anything that's going to be affiliated with purchasing a property. Now, if you have to manually do it, I think that's where it's a lot harder, because you have to remember to go into your account, and then you might look at your balance and be not too thrilled with the amount that's there. And then now you're not going to move the money over. So I think, one, getting a budget and getting some kind of automated system in place to sweep the money into a high yield savings account or some kind of savings where you don't look at that every day. That's going to be an easy way to probably build up a few $1,000s every year to get you into your home. Now, the next thing that I would do is make sure that I look at my credit and understand where my score is. Now, yes, you can look at it on your credit card, you can look at it on Credit Karma, but just know that those credit scores are going to be a little different than what we look at on a credit report with a lender. So this may require you talking to a lender up front to see what exactly does your score look like, and maybe giving them some documents as far as your income goes, so you can see what would you qualify for on your home purchase. Now, this is something that not many lenders do, but this is one thing that my team and I, we've always done this, is we can run these hypothetical scenarios for you based on your current situation. So a lot of times people feel that when you get pre-approved, it's kind of the end all be all, and they want to make themselves look as good as possible with the lender so that way they can get approved. But let me tell you this, the application, it's not the end all be all. If you came into my office today and let's say you got approved for $300,000, but your goal is to get to a $450,000 price range, we can then map out things that you need to do over the next however many months it takes you to do this to buy a house at $450,000. And some of it could be a quick fix. where maybe you're paying down your debt or paying off some debt, or maybe you're getting a cosigner. Some of it could be a little longer because maybe your credit score is not high enough, or maybe you just don't have the down payment. So there's ways that we can figure out what the issue is. Because remember, in lending, it's just math. It's all it is. There's no rocket science on how to buy a house. It's literally math. You have your income, how much money you're willing to put down, the money you're borrowing. Does that work out? Is the debt to income ratio qualify? If it does, great. You can buy a house. So it's not difficult. So don't be afraid to talk to a lender. And if the lender doesn't want to give you the roadmap on how to get there, then go talk to somebody else. Don't let that be a stopping point for you because someone didn't give you the time of day. They can easily give you advice on how to buy your house. So understanding your credit is super important. If there's anything on there that has to be cleaned up, do it ahead of time. Don't wait until the last minute. I hear a lot of times in my career, a lot of folks would get upset with their cell phone carriers and not pay their bill because they got screwed over or they didn't do something and now they owe like $150 to T-Mobile, and it would literally sit on their account in a collection. It would drive me crazy. I was just like, why not just pay the bill? Be done with it. Who cares if they didn't charge you the money? Pay it and be done with it, because now you're letting T-Mobile ruin your credit for the last however many years because you're just waiting for that to fall off your credit report. Not the smartest way to go about credit, in my opinion. Pay it off, be done with it, and get back up to a 700 credit score. Make sure there's no inaccuracies on your credit report. Make sure your ID doesn't get stolen. You hear so many companies these days getting hacked by all of these hackers out there. You've had title companies that have gotten their security breached. You've had Mr. Cooper, which I've had mortgages with them. They got their security breached and some of their data taken. So just make sure you have your credit monitored so that way you know what's going on. So you got your budget, you got your credit. Now, I think the other thing you can take a look at too is maybe picking up a side hustle. This is something that has become easier and easier over the years, whether it's doing Uber Eats, doing Postmates, doing Uber as a driver, Lyft. If you have multiple vehicles, you can put them up on Turo. There's some things that you can do online, working from home as a part-time job. There's a lot of resources out there today that I don't think was all necessarily there 20 years ago. So if you needed to maybe make another $500 a month or another $1,000 a month, there's probably a side hustle that you could pick up to make some extra money, maybe just save it to the side, or maybe pay off some of the bad debt that you currently have to put yourself in a better position. And remember, this doesn't have to be a permanent thing. You could pick up a side hustle maybe for 6 months, maybe a year, make that extra cash, and then quit. Because once you buy your home, now you got yourself in a better spot. So there's a lot of ways that I think we kind of close off our perception on what it takes to buy a house. And maybe we feel that the markets ran away from us and we can't do it. But I truly believe in housing. I believe in home ownership. And I think you have to look for solutions. I think if you focus on the negative, that's absolutely what you're going to find. But I think if you focus on the opportunity and ways to get into a home, you can certainly do that. There's down payment assistance programs that are out there, so you don't have to have a ton of money to buy a home. You know, if you're going to be living in this house for the foreseeable future, look for one of these grants, because a lot of those grants do require you to stay in the home for typically 3 years or so. If you sell or refi within that 3-year period, you typically have to pay a prorated amount of the funds that you received back to the program. So not a horrible thing if your house goes up a lot in equity, where you have more equity to pay off whatever loan that you essentially got from the community lender, or some of the states or counties are offering these things. But don't go into it again where you're trying to buy and sell a home within 6 months or a year and thinking you're going to make $50,000, or you're going to refinance your home and do the Burr method, and now all of a sudden you got all your money out and you've never had to make a payment on the house. Don't get caught up with the quick gratification. Real estate is more of a long-term play. Social media has made real estate more of a get rich quick scheme, where you see these guys that are selling you courses, selling you on how to flip 500 houses in a year with no money. You have to remember, get your first house, get that under your belt, because that can start building your wealth for the future. I think so many people try to get so aggressive with flipping and wholesaling and all these other ways that you can make money in real estate, but it's not the get rich quick thing. If it was that easy and if everyone do it, you'd have everybody doing these things. It doesn't always work for everybody. So stop chasing the quick dollar. And you know what? Maybe think about the long-term benefit of owning a home. For myself, when I bought my first place, I needed a place to live. And I shared this story with you. My dad really told me, he's like, you should buy a house. And this was when it was 2010-ish, and we bought a place. And I needed a place to live. That's all I cared about. I was happy that the house had a pool. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I could go in my backyard and literally just lay out. That was the best thing to me. And my friends that lived here at the time, it was cool for us. We all enjoyed living in that home. It was great. And I still have it to this day. But I didn't go into that house thinking I'm going to sell it in 5 years, 10 years. I'm going to make all this money and then I'm going to keep buying more property. I've been able to buy more property because I've owned the home long enough. I've been able to buy more property because I've been able to build a mortgage business that pays me enough money to go look for other investments. So sometimes I think you have to look at yourself in the mirror and just know that you got to work on yourself too, right? Because the budgeting, that's a you thing you have to fix. That's not the rest of the economy or anything else that we're dealing with. You got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, am I spending too much money at Starbucks, eating out, ordering Postmates, whatever it could be? We all have our vices, and I get it. And I'm not saying you have to live a boring life, but I think getting your budget under wraps is an important thing. And guess what? Your credit is a reflection of your budgeting. Because if you're maxing out your credit cards, your score is going to drop. If you're taking out more debt and running that up, that's a reflection of your budget. So they go hand in hand. And last but not least, when you have your income, if you can pick up a side hustle, that again is another way to add more income to the pot so you can eliminate the credit debt. You can improve the budget, which then improves your overall situation on buying a home. So they're all interrelated with each other. Buying a house is not difficult. Stop telling yourself that it's impossible or that it's only for rich people or it's something that you just can't do. That's a bad mindset to have. You got to have a mindset of abundance and a mindset of being positive and find ways to do it. And if you're stuck and you don't know where to start, this is where my team and I can get you into contact with the right people, get you on the right game plan, and also have great real estate agents that can also understand the benefits of home ownership and truly put you into a home that's going to make sense for you. And we're not just chasing a commission check. We want to make sure that we get you into the right home. So take this information into the new year, use it to help you get on the right track so that way you can become a homeowner in 2024. I'll see you on the next one.